G'day YouTube. Today I'm going to review Science-Based Six Pack. This will be the first review I do after the first phase of the program. So I've been on the program for over 4 weeks, but I'm going to review the first 4-week chunk of the program. And because it's my first review, it'll be the general overview of Science-Based Six Pack. So I kind of need to talk generally before I go into the specifics of the first month of the program. So I thought I'd start with what you get. So when you buy the Science-Based Six Pack program, it comes with some ebooks to download. So it gives you access to a website. I actually found it was much more efficient to use the app that you can download for your iPhone. And that gives you a massive PDF document and a bunch of other supplementary documentation that gives you the full program. So in terms of the actual program itself, it's a complete step-by-step list of instructions for completing the program. Gives you your exercise in great detail in terms of what you'll be doing. It gives you your nutritional information, so what macros you should be tracking. There's actually 2 paths that you can track through the program. You can be on the base track or the fast track. And obviously there's a bit of a difference between the two. In one, you kind of track your overall energy intake, and the other you track individual macros. And then it gives you a bunch of recipes and examples of, in order to hit your macros on phase 2 of the fast track, you could pick from this range of recipes that I've already prepared for you, as an example. So you get complete instructions to cover you for a 3-month weight loss program that covers diet, exercise, and then there's a bunch of the science that drives the program, provided to you in those ebooks. You also get access to a bunch of videos, and those videos I found were crucial to figuring out exactly how to do what he was talking about. So, the videos cover Q&A about the program. It actually covers the program itself. So pretty much everything that's covered in the PDF file is also covered in video format. He has someone come in, a client of his, I think, or it might be a friend, but he comes in and does a Q&A session. So Thomas DeLauer, the guy that runs the program, does a Q&A. Most importantly, though, it also gives you full videos of the entire exercise program split into, there's a program a day for 3 days a week, and then you rotate for each of the 3 phases. So without, giving you all the details, it would make it so that it's pointless you buying your own copy of the program. So I'm not going to go into that level of detail. He gives you all of the exercises in video format, and he walks you through each of those exercises, which I found invaluable because, when someone says do jump squats, well, you go and Google jump squats and there's probably 2 or 3 different variations you could be doing. So it's good to have the exact video to show you exactly what he's talking about. Surprisingly, about 25 minutes after I paid for the program, I also got a call from the US. Now I'm in Australia, so obviously that's already been set up for international dial out. But I was impressed. It wasn't something I was expecting. I got a call from a guy, explained that he would be the guy associated with my membership, if you like. He asked me a bunch of questions about what I've been doing, what my goals were, what my current weight was, how I've been eating. Pretty much gave me like a kind of a rundown to understand what I was trying to get out of the program. And then he, specified go on the fast track straight away, also add this supplement, add this. So, I walked away from that phone call with a very clear picture of not only do I now have this material that I've paid for, but I've got a very clear picture as to how best to apply it to my specific needs based on his advice. He also asked me to send him fortnightly photographs showing him my progress. So shirt off photos, front, side, and back, so he could track my progress over time. Excuse me. Now, interestingly, I've never had a follow-up, so I have been sending those photos off, and I get a reply saying, thank you for sending your photos. But, I'm 6 weeks into a 12-week program, and no one's called me again. There's really been no follow-up at all. I didn't really expect the call in the first place, so I guess it's unfair to expect that they would, follow me up. But anyway, so that's kind of what you get when you pay for the program. In terms of my experience of phase 1 specifically, so the first 4 weeks, you're kind of adjusting, it eases you into the program. I think I've covered some of this in other videos. It took me some time to build a meal plan around those macros where, if I didn't follow his recipes as examples, if I wanted to build my own meal plan around the macro targets for each meal, it took me a while to adjust. And I think I did talk to that. Just in terms of the volume of food, there's lots of different ways to hit macros in a meal. One's going to be a mountainous plate of food, and the other's going to be, quite densely packed with nutrients to get the same macros. So it took me a while to adjust to that in terms of my thinking. I also, to be honest, I wasn't doing a whole lot of exercise in the lead up to the program. So getting used to waking up at 6 o'clock in the morning, and exercising first thing in the morning, and then cooling down, particularly for someone who's unfit, cooling down quickly enough to then shower, get dressed in a suit and walk out the door, A, to make sure I got out the door in time, and also B, to make sure I wasn't sweating profusely all the way to work, because no one wants to start a day like that. So that took a bit of adjustment. And really the other experience I guess I could talk about, it's a bit of a negative one, but it passed really quickly, and that was just adjusting to how much water was involved in terms of intermittent fasting. You have to drink a lot of water. So took me a week and a half, 2 weeks to kind of adjust. I was finding I was going to the bathroom and 10 times, 20 times a day, all through the night. It kept me awake the first few nights, but my body has adjusted now to a point where I don't experience a lot of those issues, which is good. I also found, I want to put this delicately because, I don't want it to be, excuse me, too gross, but I also found that it wasn't just me urinating that it affected. It was also bowel movements were very, very affected for the first week and a half. Let's just say that liquid in, liquid out. That's probably about as delicately as I could put it, but I thought it was important because I know when I was first experiencing, and we're talking, once or twice a day or 3 times a day, every day for a week and a half, I started getting a little concerned that maybe I was doing something wrong. Maybe, the first thing you do when your body changes is you jump on the internet and you start looking for whether or not anyone else had experienced the same problem. That's the only reason I brought that up. So I'm sorry if I grossed you out. Overall, so I did the 4 weeks of phase 1. Overall, I think the program, I've got some good things to say and I've got some bad things to say in terms of reviewing it. And this is a no bullshit review, right? I haven't been engaged by Thomas DeLauer to provide this review. I do note that there aren't too many reviews on YouTube at the moment, which I found was interesting, and it certainly made it harder for me to make a decision. So I think I'll start with the bad and then we'll go to the good, and then my overall conclusion. So on the bad side, their website, the website Science-Based Six-Pack, or I think there's like 13 different variations I found while I was searching. I found the website very hard to wrap my head around, to engage with. It's not very clearly laid out. It's not what I expect out of a professional website, to be honest, selling a product. And I'm in IT, so maybe my standards are higher than is typical and higher than is fair. But I actually found it very hard to engage with the website. Lots of videos, peddling the wares, lots of anecdotal evidence that the program's good, lots of fine print saying, by the way, everybody on this website who's put in their comments about how great the program is an atypical result and you shouldn't expect it, which is kind of, you need that sort of stuff in there to protect you legally, so I understand that. But I just found it was very hard to go through the buying process. The other thing I found was not knowing whether or not this was legitimate, and people advertising on YouTube, and I mean, he's advertising aggressively over the last couple of months. Certainly he was when I saw it. It's everywhere. And now I don't know what criteria I met in terms of stuff that I'd searched on YouTube before that got me to get to see all that advertising, but it's on like every video I watch about any topic. I'm getting Thomas DeLauer's Science-Based Six-Pack advertising. So I don't know if that's a typical outcome or if that's just him spamming YouTube at the moment with a big marketing campaign, because it is a relatively new program, or if that's just my search keys led YouTube to feed me that. But I didn't know if it was a scam or not, so I wanted to use PayPal to pay for it. Certainly not go to a website that didn't look all that high tech and stick my raw credit card details into their website. I was trying to avoid that. So I found on my mobile phone, I tried to buy it, and it was on special at the time. I think it was $70 US, or it might have been $80 US. So I jumped on my mobile phone. It wanted my credit card details. I went, no, I might look around for some alternatives in PayPal. And in order to get to the payment screen, I had to put my email address in. And that was really important, which we'll come back to in a sec. So anyway, I hit it up on my PC. PayPal was an option on the PC. Same website, same exact process to go through it, except I found that, now maybe I'm not remembering which side is correct, but certainly I hit it up on my mobile phone and a computer, and I found one offered you only credit card details and the other offered you the option of using PayPal. So I picked that option. Now the problem with that is I ended up giving him, or the company, my email address twice. And I tell you, I have been double spammed by the same emails once or twice a day, every single day since. I have unsubscribed from the mailing list 16 or 17 times. And I'm not exaggerating. I do tend towards hyperbole, but I'm not exaggerating. I get emails all the time from him. I can't get rid of them. I'm at a point where I'm going to email Sciencebase Six-Pack support and find out what they can do, because when I first mentioned it to them, they said just unsubscribe. Well, I've tried that numerous times and then I'm still getting spammed. You know, don't miss this offer. It's going to run out tomorrow. Hey, Pete, this offer's just for you, and I've convinced everyone else to extend this offer just to you personally, and $7,000 worth of value. I am exaggerating the dollar value, but those types of high pressure, aggressive sales messages, which I can totally understand, but to get two of them all the time, daily at minimum, and then to have unsubscribed numerous times is just, it's such a silly thing. I'm sure it's just a technical glitch, but it's such a silly technical glitch and it turns people off. So that pissed me off. I've already mentioned the lack of follow-up. I got the original call. You know what? I never got an email address to the, I never got instructions for how to access the written content and the video content sent to me in an email to say, go to this website, here's your username and password, you can get in. Now, I ended up figuring it out myself because, as I said, I'm in IT. It wasn't exactly all that complicated for me to Google Sciencebase Six-Pack members area, and someone else had asked the same question and happened to link it in I think it was a Reddit post. But, to pay, I think the problem with PayPal is, in the end, I didn't get to take advantage of that $70 or $80 US discount. I paid $120 US for the exact same content because I wanted to use PayPal, and because there was a disparity between the offers on the website on your phone versus a PC, which again is just stupidity. It's simple stuff that if someone took notice of it, then they could fix in a moment. So that kind of bugged me. But that's kind of the bad things. On the good side, sorry, it's very hot in here. On the good side, the program doesn't require you to think. It doesn't require you to understand the science. It doesn't require you to plan anything. It just requires you to do. So for someone new to this type of stuff, for someone who hasn't done intermittent fasting, for someone who doesn't want to research it and derive their own plan, for someone who's unsure how to marry nutritional advice on one hand and exercise advice on the other, and kind of blend that into fasting and how that interacts, this program is brilliant because you don't have to think about any of that stuff. You just do what he tells you to do when he tells you to do it, and you will get results. I genuinely believe you will get results. It eases you in. It's not kind of smack bang, here's keto, have fun. Same with the exercise. You start with pure body weight, lots of push-ups and squat variations and some other stuff in there, but then you start to add some dumbbells and you increase intensity, you increase the amount of time you spend doing it. So I like the fact that it eases you in on the exercise and also eases you in on the diet side. So you kind of start with some small adjustments to your diet, and as you go through the three phases, you approach a ketogenic diet, which isn't something I would want to have crashed into. Now, having said that, all of the information contained in the program you could get if you spent the time to research yourself, if you spent the time to understand it yourself. But frankly, I didn't want to. I'm too lazy. I wanted something I could just click the button, pay the money, follow the advice, and get the result. And that's what I think this program is great for. And I do like the fact that it's structured. There is a base track, there is a fast track. Here's your diet, here's your meal plans. If you're on the base track, then you just track your calorie intake, and this is the calories for the three phases, yada, yada, yada. I like the fact that it's structured. It's a nice, it's very easy to follow. It's very easy to understand. It's not daunting and intimidating when you get started. And for that, I think the program is fantastic. So in terms of my conclusions, because I'm aware that I'm already 14 minutes in or so, do I think it's good value for money? Well, it's $120 US for me ended up costing about 150, 160 Australian dollars. To me, that's 2.5, 3 months of a gym membership. And for that, and it's a 3-month program. So in that sense, if you're following it, you're getting a nutrition plan. You're not paying for a PT to do that stuff for you. I actually think it is very good value for money. I should say, and I neglected this right at the start, he also sends you supplements. So as part of the program, he signs you up to this ongoing thing where for $90 US, he will ship you some supplements once a month. Now, I opted out of that immediately. I made it very clear in my first communication with the company, I don't want none of that stuff. You know, I don't want you shipping krill oil and protein powder all the way from the US at, I think it was 90 US a month. Don't quote me, I'll have to check that, and I might throw a note up to confirm or correct, but I think it was about 90 US dollars a month to ship me some stuff that I can buy from a local store. So I opted out of that. Now I kind of got the gut feeling in my overall impressions is really this is a vehicle to not only make some front end money from the program. Fair enough. I believe in the program. I think it's a good one if you're a guy especially. You know, intermittent fasting. I've read some stuff about women and IF that it needs a little bit more thought before you jump into it. But if you're a guy and you want to get into intermittent fasting, this is a great program. I think that the $150, $160 is good value for money. But I kind of got this gut feeling that really it's designed to lock you into paying for the supplements as well. That's where they're probably really making their money. I don't know, but I didn't really rate the supplements. In the end, I think they sent me BCAAs and some protein powder. Small sizes for both. I'm actually taking the BCAAs. I don't want to go out and spend money on them while I'm experimenting. I will buy some other stuff if I decide to go ahead with it. I think I will. But the protein powder, I didn't really rate all that highly. You know, the protein powder I've got, I spent pretty decent money on. You know, it has 25 grams of protein per dose or per serving, less than a gram of carbs and 0 fat. Now, his protein powder has 22 grams of protein, 5 grams of carbs, and 1.5 grams of fat. Now, either it's not as high a quality as the protein powder I got, or, and to be honest, I spent maybe 70 Australian dollars, which is maybe 50 US dollars on that protein powder, and that lasted me the first month. So, you know, really add krill oil, 20 bucks. For the same money, I can control the quality locally and I can get it instantly. So either his protein powder quality isn't as high as the stuff I chose to buy for cheaper, or he's specifically engineered the protein powder to match the program. I don't know if having protein powder with 5 grams of carbs and 1.5 grams of fat against 22 grams of protein, to me that doesn't seem like a great quality, but I don't know too much about whey protein isolate, so maybe that represents a different type of protein powder for a different program. I don't know. Anyway, I didn't take it. I hate the cinnamon flavor that it comes in. I wanted something neutral because I blend it with a bunch of other food. So anyway, I think overall the program's good value for money if you can get out, if you opt out of the supplements, particularly if you're not in the US. It's clear and easy to follow, which is great. I think it's a great gateway program into a ketogenic diet, into intermittent fasting as it relates to, you know, all the other types of fasting you can do. I think it's a great introduction to bodyweight training, so calisthenics, stuff like that. You know, in terms of, I guess the last part of conclusions really needs to be, have I seen it have a positive impact on my weight? And the answer is kind of yes and kind of no. I don't really think it's fair to judge it on a 4-week part of a, you know, on a 1/3 of the overall program. I also don't think it's fair. I mean, look, I can tell you straight away that in the week leading up to starting the program, in the 4 weeks leading up to starting the program, I lost an average of 1.3 kilos a week. Just tracking my macros. I wasn't dieting, I wasn't exercising, I was just tracking what I was eating and making some subtle changes that were really kind of subconscious changes. I was gravitating towards better quality foods rather than really knowing what I was doing. And I was losing 1.3 kilos a week for the month leading up to it. And I would say this, it was over the Christmas holidays, so time that most people tend to put on weight. During the first 4 weeks of the Science-Based Six-Pack program, I lost an average of 1.1 kilos. So in terms of raw on the scales outcome, you know, I lost less weight over the 4 weeks in the program than I did in the 4 weeks leading up to the program, where I was doing no exercise, I was eating whatever I wanted, I was just tracking my macros. And I didn't even have a target for total calorie intake, let alone macros. So on paper, probably, and I'll throw the graph up, it probably isn't all that great on paper, but I think that's probably not very fair. I did notice last week, for example, I didn't fast for a couple of days. I wasn't drinking all that much water. I shed all my water weight because I am drinking 2.2 liters a day when I'm fasting. And I dropped like 1.5 kilos in a day. I think it was from 9 p.m. at night to 6 a.m. in the morning, I dropped like 1.5 kilos. That's a lot of water weight. So maybe it's not fair to judge it on paper in terms of raw kilograms. So I would say overall, I'm very glad I bought it. It's opened the doorway to fitness and to, to diet and exercise, and I'm going to continue. I've got a shopping list of stuff I want to try after this program. So in that sense, it's gotten me off my ass and gotten me out there and started to make the right choices in life. So I think that's worth a hell of a lot more than 160 Australian or 120 US. So in that sense, I think it's a good program. I'd recommend anyone who wants to start off without doing a whole bunch of research into the science or even what they should be doing, without wading through a million different opinions that will all, have a slightly different spin on the same topic or disagree with each other. If you just want to buy something that will tell you what to do and you should expect to get some results, I think this is a great program. So in that sense, I rate it very highly. Anyway, I won't give you an update on my personal journey just yet. I'll probably throw up a secondary video this week because I kind of want to stick to the review. Anyway, hit me up on Instagram if you want to chat, or please, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, throw me a comment if you've got anything else to add or ask, and I'll speak to you soon. Thanks.